Hot, sweet mint tea is poured from high above the glass, capturing the very soul of the desert air. Here, among the endless golden dunes, absolute silence is not an absence of sound. It is a living, breathing presence. The sun is finally dipping below the sweeping crest of the great towering dunes. For many long hours, the fine sand has radiated an intense, shimmering heat, but now the evening air cools against your skin with startling speed. The sky above you shifts from a blinding bright white to a soft, bruised purple, and then finally to an impossible fiery orange. You can hear the soft, gentle crunch of shifting sand as a camel settles onto its knees, resting its heavy body for the night. In the near distance, a small fire cracks and pops, throwing tiny, glowing orange sparks into the gathering twilight. The rich scent of burning dry desert wood mixes beautifully with the sharp, sweet aroma of fresh green mint. We are sitting together on thick, deeply woven wool rugs that safely insulate us from the rapidly cooling earth. Shadows grow incredibly long, stretching far across the rippled, wind-blown surface of the desert floor. The wind, which had been a relentless, rushing whisper all afternoon, finally settles into an absolute, complete stillness. You take a deep, slow breath and suddenly realize you have never experienced a profound quiet quite like this. We are far beyond the reach of bright city lights and loud concrete streets. We are in the Moroccan Sahara, stepping completely into a rhythm of life that has remained deeply unbroken for thousands of years. Welcome to Culture Journey. We have traveled far to the southeastern edge of Morocco, where the rugged, towering peaks of the Atlas Mountains finally give way to a vast, endless sea of golden sand. This is the Great Sahara, the largest hot desert on our entire planet. To an outsider simply looking at a map, this endless ocean of sand might look empty, completely barren, or even deeply intimidating. But to the indigenous Amazigh people, who have called this beautiful, extreme environment their home for millennia, it is absolutely anything but empty. It is a rich landscape mapped in deep generational memory, layered with ancient gold and salt trade routes, and woven tightly together by enduring, powerful cultural traditions. A night spent here under the stars is not just a casual visit to a stunning geographical location. It is a rare, beautiful invitation to understand a profound, deeply grounded way of being in the world. The local people understand exactly how to live in delicate, respectful harmony with an unforgiving, harsh environment, heavily relying on radical open hospitality, deep, unbreakable community bonds, and an intricate, ancient knowledge of the natural world. Tonight, we are going to leave the rush and stress of the modern world entirely behind us. We will sit closely around the warm fire and experience the profound, quiet beauty of a Saharan night, strictly through the eyes and traditions of those who know it best. As total, absolute darkness finally takes over the desert, our small camp gradually becomes a glowing, safe island of warmth and security. If you were sitting right here with us, you would immediately notice the unique, rough texture of the traditional tents completely surrounding us. These are not modern synthetic camping structures. They are sweeping tents, woven tightly from goat hair and sheep's wool. The women of the tribes hold the ancestral knowledge of this craft, creating panels that are both resilient and functionally brilliant. The dark, heavy fabric is uniquely perfectly suited to this harsh, unpredictable environment. During the blistering, intense heat of the long summer day, the natural woven fibers naturally breathe easily, letting cool air circulate freely, while completely blocking the fierce, blinding sun. But tonight, as the desert temperatures plummet rapidly toward freezing, those exact same natural fibers swell with the subtle evening moisture. They close up incredibly tight, sealing out the bitter cold wind and perfectly trapping the precious warmth radiating from our central fire. This ancient, clever textile technology is a brilliant, undeniable testament to the deep ingenuity of the nomadic Amazigh tribes. For countless resilient generations, these extended families moved slowly and deliberately across the vast dunes, carefully following unpredictable seasonal rains, and patiently seeking green grazing lands for their precious herds of goats and camels. Everything they owned had to be highly portable, incredibly durable, and deeply respectfully connected to the natural world around them. They quite literally carried their entire homes on the backs of camels, bravely navigating a landscape that naturally offers almost no permanent physical shelter. Sitting closely together around the crackling fire, the primary focus of our small camp naturally turns to our generous host, who is carefully and quietly preparing the glowing embers for tea. You might be quite surprised to learn that out here in the Sahara, making tea is never a rushed, simple chore. It is a remarkably slow, deliberate, and deeply respected ritual that carries the heavy, important weight of a sacred cultural duty. In the deep open desert where sheer physical survival depends almost entirely on the absolute kindness of passing strangers, hospitality is not merely a polite afterthought. It is the absolute core foundation of all human society here. When a weary, exhausted traveler eventually appears on the distant empty horizon, they are always welcomed without a single question and without any hesitation. The host slowly places a battered, blackened metal teapot directly onto the glowing orange coals. He meticulously adds dark, dry green tea leaves, large, rough chunks of raw sugar, and massive, fragrant handfuls of fresh desert mint. Watch very closely how he expertly pours the tea. He dramatically lifts the heavy metal teapot high into the cold air, sometimes a full arm length above the delicate small glass resting on the silver tray. The hot golden liquid arcs perfectly through the dark air, creating a thick, heavy, frothy layer of foam at the very top of the small glass. This thick foam serves a vital, essential purpose, naturally keeping the blowing desert sand out and the heat safely trapped inside the liquid. But there is a profound, beautiful story poured into these small, warm glasses as well. There is a famous old local proverb here that wisely says the first glass of tea is bitter like life, the second glass is strong like love, and the third glass is gentle like death. We sit quietly together in the cool sand, slowly sipping the scalding, intensely sweet tea, and physically feeling the intense warmth spread deeply through our chests. The complex, rich taste of the bitter tea, mixing with the pure sugar and fresh mint, is unlike anything else. The beautiful ritual forces you to completely slow down, to be entirely present in the current moment, and to humbly acknowledge the shared, fragile humanity of absolutely everyone sitting together in the glowing circle. Soon the profound, endless silence of the open, dark desert is beautifully broken by a deep, resonant, rhythmic sound. Someone from the camp has brought out a large round drum with a dried goat skin stretched extremely tight over a heavy carved wooden frame. Another person picks up a pair of heavy metal castanets locally known as krakibs, a signature of Nawa music that carries the rhythmic legacy of sub-Saharan Africa. The musical rhythm starts very slowly and very deliberately. It is a heavy, hypnotic, deeply swaying beat. If you listen closely and let yourself truly feel the traditional music, you will quickly realize the rhythm perfectly mimics the rolling, steady, powerful gait of a camel walking endlessly across the ocean of dunes. The traditional music of the Deep Sahara is intensely captivating and deeply spiritual. These beautiful ancient songs are the living, breathing archives of the desert people. Without a strict reliance on written text in the deep, distant past, the Amazigh people safely stored their entire complex history, their extensive family genealogy, and their deep spiritual beliefs securely within the rhythm of poetry and song. The human voices rise tightly together in a powerful call and response, echoing far out into the absolute darkness of the surrounding dunes. The rising melody carries ancient stories of desperately needed rain falling on dry earth, of long, dangerous journeys across ancient salt routes, of legendary warriors, and of deep, enduring human love. The firelight dances brightly across the faces of the singers, illuminating their deep connection to the words. You do not need to speak or understand the local language to physically feel the raw, intense emotion vibrating in the cold night air. The traditional music slowly, naturally builds in speed and in emotional intensity, urging some members of the camp to stand up and joyfully dance, kicking up small temporary clouds of fine desert sand entirely around the glowing fire. It is a pure, uninhibited celebration of life in a tough place that can be so incredibly unforgiving. In this single beautiful moment, you can tangibly, intensely feel the unbreakable, vital bond of community. When you live daily in an environment this incredibly vast and this wildly unpredictable, you absolutely cannot survive completely alone. You must survive through tight human unity, through freely shared joy, and through the collective powerful memory carefully preserved in these ancient beautiful desert songs. Eventually, late into the night, the music softens gently, and the fire slowly, peacefully burns down to a quiet pile of glowing orange ash. You lay back entirely onto the heavy, comfortable wool rugs and look straight up into the sky. Because there is absolutely no artificial light pollution for hundreds of empty miles, the sky high above the Sahara is not just a random, sparse scattering of distant stars. It is a dense, blazing, overwhelmingly bright, heavy canopy of clear light. The Milky Way stretches completely across the entire visible horizon, looking exactly like a wide, rushing river of glowing diamond dust suspended in space. For the traveling desert nomads, these bright, beautiful stars were never just beautiful atmospheric decorations to be admired. They were a crucial, absolutely vital tool for survival. The complex stars served as an infallible, precise map, perfectly guiding giant, heavy camel caravans across featureless, repeating oceans of shifting sand, specifically during the cool night hours, when travel was by far the safest and easiest. Every single constellation shining above holds a specific important story, a precise geographic direction, and a clear marker of the shifting, changing season. As the deep, dark night progresses toward morning, the air turns incredibly cold, becoming sharp and deeply biting. We quickly pull thick, heavy woolen blankets all the way up to our chins, completely safely wrapped in the quiet, total isolation of the immense desert. The stillness all around us is absolute and complete. It is a kind of profound, intense silence that you can almost physically hear inside your ears, a deep, ringing, peaceful emptiness that instantly, easily clears the mind of every single modern worry or anxiety. Hours later comes a subtle, magical shift. The pitch-black sky begins to soften in the east. The biting cold of the night reaches its peak, just before the distant horizon turns a pale, watery blue. We all wake up naturally, shivering slightly from the chill, but drawn instinctively and powerfully to the high crest of the tallest sand dune to silently watch the coming dawn. The fine, soft sand is completely freezing under our bare walking feet. But as the bright sun finally beautifully breaches the flat horizon, the color of the entire desert changes instantly and dramatically. The pale, cold dunes are suddenly completely bathed in a rich, warm, glowing, golden light, and you can physically feel the life-giving, strong heat rapidly returning to the sandy earth almost immediately. Down below us in the waking camp, the host is already carefully burying fresh dough deep inside the hot morning sand and glowing embers, slowly baking khobz el mela, the traditional flat desert bread, to serve for our breakfast. A new day begins, just as it has for millennia, in a harsh, stunning landscape that demands human respect and generously rewards it with profound peace. A night quietly spent in the vast Sahara Desert truly leaves a deep, permanent, lasting mark on the human soul. When you eventually return to the loud, crowded city, the memory of this place changes you. It gently, but incredibly firmly strips away the loud, persistent noise and the endless trivial distractions of our fast-paced, demanding modern lives, and it beautifully reminds us of our most core fundamental human needs. We all absolutely need warmth. We all desperately need safe shelter from the wind. We all deeply need the comforting, reliable companionship of others to share the glowing fire and to peacefully share the vast silence. The beautiful Amazigh people expertly teach us that a natural landscape is absolutely never truly empty or barren if you simply deeply know exactly how to listen to it and how to deeply respect its ancient natural rhythms. Their enduring culture is a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit and to our collective ability to find beauty, community, and belonging in the most extreme corners of our earth. When we finally leave the towering golden dunes behind, we will always carry a permanent, quiet piece of that profound stillness deeply inside us. It gently becomes a quiet, incredibly safe place, resting inside our minds that we can easily, gladly return to whenever the modern world outside becomes simply too loud. The sweeping desert remains a timeless, deeply beautiful physical reminder that we as humans are quite small, that the entire universe is incredibly vast, and that our shared human connection is absolutely the greatest, most important warmth we will ever have. Thank you for joining us on this unforgettable journey into the beating heart of the Moroccan Sahara. If you felt the warmth of the desert fire and the peace of the endless stars, please like this video and share it with someone who appreciates the diverse cultures of our shared world. Please subscribe to Culture Journey and ring the bell so we can continue to explore these meaningful human experiences together. There are so many more incredible, fascinating stories just waiting to be told, and we warmly want you right here sitting comfortably with us around the fire. Until our next great shared journey together, please stay curious.